Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today I'm popping on real fast to give you a real quick tip and trick. And today is going to be on how to put UV resin on your already baked clay. So I picked out a flat one, but also has like detailed on it. And then I also picked out one that you're going to want to get resin all the way to the sides and inside. So the first thing you're going to do is pick out your UV resin. I love the J Diction. I'll put a link in the description for you. And you're also going to want some kind of like tool to move your resin around and one to hold your resin in place. And I like to use my little poker tool. So we'll just jump right into it. So for the flat one, I just keep it right on a base that I can pick up and move on it. You're going to want to put it on a base that you could pick up and put right under the UV light. So just take your poker tool, hold your piece down, and then take your resin and spread it right to the end. And you're going to want to move slow if you're not used to it. And just pull it right over. Make sure you get all those little crevices filled. And you'll know if you don't have enough resin because it will pull away from the sides, okay? You don't want to put too much on, but you also don't want to put too little on. You have to have just the right amount to make it work, that you don't have to do it more than one time. And the more you play with it, the more you'll know. Now you'll see I have to be real careful right in this area, because if I do too much, it's going to pull over and it's going to fill up that little area that's open. So I need to be careful with that and make sure I'm not putting too much in that area. And I just keep pulling it right to the edges. And this particular resin, I absolutely love it because it doesn't seem to move away from the edges as some of the other ones do. And it also kind of stays where I put it, which is one thing that I absolutely love. I don't want to have to resin my pieces more than one time. I want to be once and done. And you'll see how I keep moving this mat. That's why you want to put it on something so you don't have to move your piece itself. You're just moving the mat. And right here, I'm going to want to be careful as well because I have that little open there. And I don't want my resin pulling into that area. And this is one that I already resined the back, so it's not laying completely flat. But because I'm moving slowly, it's not going to spill over, and it's just working nicely because I'm working slowly. Oops. All right, so after you have all your resin on there, you're going to want to get a lighter and just go over, pop all your bubbles. If you feel like your lighter's not popping a bubble, just poke it and it'll take the bubble out. And now you could put that right under your UV light. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to do this one next. And for this one, I'm going to use a paintbrush. So I'm going to take my resin. I'm going to go right around the edge here. I'm going to take my paintbrush, whatever paintbrush you use, make sure it's one that you don't care about, because once you get resin on it, it's kind of hard to clean it, and you're not going to be able to use it for anything else. So now I'm going to take my paintbrush, and you can see I don't have a lot right on this side, and I'm just going to paint my sides. So it's just basically you're painting your piece. That's all. You see most of the pool is going to be in the middle. Oops. Let's move this over here. If I feel like my paintbrush needs more on it, I just dump it into that area. And then I brush it right over again. So it really is not difficult. It's just take your time and move slow. So now all my edges are nice. They're covered, they're shiny, they look beautiful, they're not dripping. And now I'm going to take the rest. I'm going to pull it into the middle here. And I'm going to cover this whole thing up. I'm going to make sure I get all of it in the middle. Look over your piece. Just check it. Make sure you didn't miss anything. I like to always go over it kind of twice. And that's it. And then I'll just take my lighter one more time. Go over the middle section. Because you're not going to have bubbles on the side because you just brushed it on. That's all you did. So it's not a thick layer. Thin layers don't get bubbles, at least not with this resin. I haven't had any issues. So now I'll put this under my UV light. And I'll put this under for about 3 to 4 minutes. All right, guys, so here it is. These are my pieces out from the UV light. And you can see there's no spillage over the edge. None whatsoever. Now this one I added glitter, and I can actually show you how to do that quickly. But here you'll see I brushed it on and it looks beautiful. There's no drippage, no nothing. So taking your paintbrush and going around the edge is really the way to do it. It truly is. Now here you can see I missed a little bit. Now when I do the backside, I could just grab that little area too. So I'm going to show you real quick how to do glitter, just in case you don't know how to do that. So this is just a practice piece. So I'm going to do gold. So inside my little cup here, this is actually like a condiment ketchup cup. I love using these because when you're done, you can throw them away if you don't want to worry about cleaning things. Because if you use those like silicone ones, then you have to put it under UV light, peel it off. I just end up throwing them away. So I'm going to actually just take a little scoop here. And I'll start out with that. And then I'll just take my resin. And I'll put it in my cup. And then I stir it up, make sure it's all nice and stirred up and blend it well. You can see that's pretty thick. You just want to make sure you're incorporating that glitter real well. And I'm just going to add a little bit more resin. Okay, you see how thick that is? And it's just dripping. That's how I want it. So let me put the lid on this because I know I'll spill it. I have a bad habit of spilling things. So then I will just take it. Now remember, when you're doing this, you're going to have to keep it under your light a little bit longer because that UV light has to go through all that glitter. And I like to just pour it right on there. That's just how I prefer to do it. And I'm going to make this real nice and full. Okay. And I get my poker tool. Oops. I'm going to hold down my piece. And by holding it down, you have more control over it so it doesn't move. And you can see I'm just pulling it right to the edge. Now, if I was doing clear, I would take my brush and go right over the edge again if I missed anything. Just pull it right over. Get it as close to the edge as you can, but you don't want to get so close that it like drips over. And here I feel like I could use just a tad bit more, so I'll just scrape out the rest of it. Take my poker tool again, and then go right to the edge. Okay, so now my piece is completely covered. What I am going to do is I'm going to put the lighter on it. This is what I like to do. I'll pop any holes, or I'll pop any bubbles that I may not see with my eye. And then I'm going to hold it down one more time. And I'm going to carefully start pulling it right to the edge. I'm going to try to get it as close to the edge as I can without it spilling over. And just move slow with it. It's not going to stay completely at the edge. It just doesn't do that. The best way, if you want to make sure that, is get your paintbrush and go over it. All right. Wipe that off. And then I will put this under my UV light. But I want to show you, look how close I am to that edge. That's about as far as you ever want to go. If you go any further than that, you are going to spill over. So do not go past. Leave that little tiny edge there. If you need it covered, get your paintbrush and go over it with a paintbrush. Do not try to put so much resin on that it's going to spill over. That's what I think a lot of people do by mistake. All right, guys, and here it is. So I left it under for about 5 minutes because the UV light is a little harder to get through with all that glitter. And I went with a darker glitter to show you guys that after 5 minutes, it is still good. This particular resin works fantastic under the light. You can see it did not pull in like a lot of people say. I had just enough resin on there. Everything looks fantastic. I had no spillage over here. This isn't overly too full. This, I had the same concept of doing the back here. I just did it, you know, in a different color. And if you work slow, you don't have to worry about spillage over here. Everything looks wonderful. I hope these little tips and tricks help you. And if they did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all next time. Bye.